If you enjoy gardening, then you'll want to stay tuned to the virtual village hall this month, because on the 22nd of April is the launch of Plant and Share Month, Food for Life get-togethers. And I'm going to ease you in gently this afternoon with a craft session. I'm going to show you how to create these beautiful watercolour flowers. Now, on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the easiest, I would say these are about a 2. Because if you can paint some dots onto paper, take a brush filled with water and drag it through paper, then I promise that you can make these. You don't need a lot of equipment, you don't need expensive equipment, but what I'm going to do, I've got it all laid out here, I'm going to pop you down and we'll get started. So to start with, I've got my watercolour paper. That's especially important because you want to make sure that it's going to take all the water that we're going to be putting onto this. I've got my paint here. You can use watercolour paint in tubes, or just get one of these palettes like this. A little bit of so somewhere you can mix your paint, that's a good idea too. You're going to need a jar of water. You're going to need a thinnish brush. And you're also going to need a thicker brush, a thick flat brush. So I'm just going to use a decorator's brush, as you can see here. So this is a 1 inch, or you can also use a watercolour flat paintbrush. That's absolutely fine to use as well. I've also got just an old tea towel that I use for art, or you can use some kitchen roll just to soak up any excess water. So let's get going. I'm going to start by mixing our paints. So I'm going to start with a really light colour. Let me move this over actually so you can see it properly. So lots of white into a yellow. I want to make a really pale yellow. Some of the yellow. So we want to make sure that your water colours are very, very wet. You could also use drawing inks for this. You'll get a really strong pigment as well. And I've got some examples that I've done with drawing ink that I'll show you later. I'm also going to go with a blue, so sort of a dark blue. Let's mix some of those up. I tend not to use pure primary colours. I like to mix them up a little bit just to bring them down, make them a little bit more natural coloured. So that's the blue that I'm going to use. And then I want to just add sort of quite a strong reddy pink colour. This is sort of a cerise colour that I've got going on here. So let's try and add as much pigment from the watercolours as I can. That's good. So move those out of the way. Now they're all mixed, and bring our paper back in. And you want to take your small brush. We don't need any more water because there's so much in here. And I'm going to start with the yellow. And I just want to imagine I'm filling sort of an imaginary circle, and I'm just putting dollops of colour into it. So predominantly I'm going to use my light colour, but if you want your flowers to be darker, then you can go with the darker colour as the dominant colour. Just rinse that off. I'm just going to take some of the excess off, and then we're going to go in with the blue. Just darken it up slightly. Lovely. And then I just want a very small piece. And you see I'm still sticking to that circle. it doesn't matter where you put the paint within that circle. Blue, then we go in with the pink, or the cerise, and that's it. So if you're just joining us this afternoon, we are painting these watercolour flowers. I started off with an imaginary circle and I filled that with a very pale yellow, and then I've added some tiny drops of blue, a dark blue, and also a cerise, very gorgeous rich pink colour there. Then I'm going to take my larger brush, so I'm just using a decorator's brush, 1-inch decorator's brush. I want it fairly full of water, and I'm just going to place that on the paper, allow the paint just to make contact with the water and start spreading, and then I will just want to make that into a petal shape like that. So go in again with some more water, allow the paint to go on the water, and make your second petal shape. Let's just finish that off slightly. Just do the same here. Same again, let the water and the paint do the work for you. And see if I can get 2 more petals in. And then a final one. And then just using the smaller brush, I'm going to take a little bit of that yellow, a little bit of that blue, and that's going to create, oh, let's try that again. I picked up a bit of red there. Yeah, create our stem. So they look a little bit odd when you first do them, but then as they dry over time, the colours all merge and you're left with these really beautiful watercolour flowers. If you wanted to try something a bit different, you wanted to go a little bit more primary colour, then just in the centre, just add some of those brighter colours. You could also, as I say, use drawing ink, which you get really strong pigments, and you might like to try just some different shapes. So rather than those rounded petals, go for this more kind of Catherine wheel effect. Just really just play with them, have a lot of fun with them. And then after you've done your watercolours and they're dry, then you might like to frame them for yourself, or you might like to turn them into cards, perhaps for a gardening friend. And all you need to do for that is just take a plain greeting card, cut your flower to shape, and you can either glue it on, or I've just used these really nice photo corners just to hold my watercolour in place, and I've just put a little bit of glue at the back just to make sure it holds down. And then what you can do, you could make some seed paper to put inside and give as a spring gift to your gardening friends. And if you join me next Thursday at 11 AM, then I'll be showing you how to make seed papers to go into your cards. So it's over to you. Do you think that that looks easy enough to do? Please do let me know in the comments on a scale of 1 to 10 how easy you feel that that's going to be for you. And if you do have a go, please, we always love to see your videos here on the your photos here on the Virtual Village Hall. So add your photos to the comments below. Feel free to like or share this post with other gardeners or friends that are gardeners, or any craft groups that you're in or gardening groups. They might like to see it too. And remember to tag your friends below so they can see the video and make their own watercolour flowers. So thanks so much for watching me. I will see you next week when we'll be making the seed papers. And until then, take care, have a really creative week, and I'll see you soon. Bye.